How's it going, everyone? I know it's been a minute. Lately we've had such a heat wave, and I was having a conversation with a friend, and she said how her son was saying, isn't it interesting that we get used to the heat? Now we think 30 degrees Celsius is cool and is pleasant. You know, sort of a couple of years ago you might have thought, wow, that's really hot. You know, much like a heat wave, our life is a thermostat. We become used to certain environments. We become used to being organised. We become used to being disciplined. We become used to mediocre, ordinary things. It's a choice. Everything's a choice. You may see a lot of videos circling around the internet these days about how the universe is formed through the internal, and no truer words have ever been spoken, because the truth is everything in our external reality is informed through our internal state. Because we are essentially asserting meaning onto the world around us. Now, I'm not going to start speaking about the particle split experiment and causal determinism, because, you know, there's too many different theories on that now with postmodern physics and the wave and the particle being on the wave and measuring it. The observer is the one that determines it, or is it just they interfere with it? You know, I'm not going to talk about that, but rather on a more kind of 3D or even 4D level, you are influencing life all the time, because much like how I'm just walking through this park now and not being concerned about talking in the park, I'm not letting that influence me. I'm not letting that influence my video, because my internal mind state is focused on putting out this video and being as clear and as concise as I can, so it's not influencing me. Now, if I was to walk through the park and think, oh, people are looking at me, even though they're not, everyone's just kicking back, kind of looking out into the sky, because it's such a beautiful Sunday, they're all relaxed. But if I did let that influence it, I would be trying to be somebody else and making sure I look professional and say all my words really nicely enunciated, but I'm not. I'm just being myself. So the message of today is that, yes, we can create our reality, and so much of that simply comes from having a clear picture in our mind, finding the steps to work towards it, and simply taking action, just starting, get people that can work with you, and how you can share ideas and gain more clarity together, and just see what you can create. Just as you can build a piece of furniture, you can build your life. You know, there's different techniques on how to create a mortise and tenon joint and slot some carved piece of wood into a chair to make something really iconic and spectacular. You can do the same with your life. You know, what mortise and tenon joint can you slot into your own life? You know, what is the missing piece of the puzzle? Yes, you can create it. And if you get the internal clear, then my God, plain sailing.